the reason why people remain in abusive environment, because they think, like for example, let's look at Nigeria. I believe that most churches in Nigeria are abusive. I believe that almost every Nigerian Christian, maybe 98%, maybe 95%, maybe 90%, at least 90% of Nigerian Christians are in abusive situations and environments in their churches. The way they ask for money, the way they ask you to come and serve, the way they tell you that you cannot have your own vision, the way they make you to come to church, all the time so that you don't have time for your own calling, the way they take you away from your family, the way they put pressure on you to obey the pastor and to worship the pastor, obey the pastor. All that is an abusive environment, right? We have already covered that. How do you know an abusive church? So, but do you know what? Many people know. Even many people, as this revolution is going on in Nigeria right now, that everybody is talking that something is wrong with the Nigerian church. Despite that, a lot of people are still hesitant to actually leave the churches. So you wonder if people know the truth, or if people know that these churches are damaging to them and they are losing their children, and there is no guarantee that these people are taking them to heaven. Most likely these people are actually taking them to hell. And that whatever these people are doing in the churches is making them to be far away from God. These people are not bringing them closer to God, they are taking them away from God. So if that is the situation, what is making Nigerians to remain in those churches? Why do our people don't run for their lives? Why is it that they are not running away from abusive churches? Well, let's see here. The number one reason is because they don't believe in themselves. These pastors, they have made our brothers and sisters in the churches in Nigeria to believe that they are nothing. These so-called men of God, they make you to think that they are the ones that are anointed. They make you to feel that they are the ones that God has chosen. You see, that is the danger. That is one of the dangers in the African churches. They elevate a certain man, a pastor or a GO or a bishop. They elevate him so high, so much that you will begin to believe yourself that you are nothing, and that these people are almighty, they are next to God. And that is a major problem right there, because when you begin to believe that other people are better than you, that is a problem. So this is what has happened in Africa. People make you to believe that the man of God has all the authority. The man of God is close to God. The man of God can do this. And so the more the men of God and their status is increased and exaggerated, the less people begin to believe in themselves. So the emphasis in Nigerian churches is not on people becoming all what God wants them to be. The emphasis in Nigerian churches is for them to recognize the anointed man of God. It's for them to worship and to respect the pastor, the GO, for them to know how anointed their pastors are. That is the emphasis that is in Nigerian church. So because of that lack of training, and because of that lack of raising the authority and the belief of the Christians, now the Christians doubt themselves. They don't have faith in themselves. So deep down, they think it is their fault, or they will begin to think, where would they go? Where would they go? They will actually tell you sometimes that there's no better church than their church where they have been abused. Or they will be telling you that where can they go? Other places, because they have brainwashed them to think that other people are worse than them. That other churches are worse than them. That their church is the only good church. That other places are, not as good. They have brainwashed them to think that it is a different God in their own church. In Nigeria, everybody believes that their own church is where God really is. And other places, there is a smaller God there. That God is not as anointed in other places. Only in their place God is anointed. And that their pastor is the one that is really truly anointed, and that all other person is not anointed, or is not at least anointed as their pastor. So that is the problem. And when the emphasis is made on men of God, on church like that, you see yourself as small. you see that you are nothing. You are nothing. So that is why a lot of Nigerian Christians, they keep on going to these churches, even though they know that the churches are abusing them, the churches are taking advantage of them, but there is no faith in themselves. People don't have the belief in themselves to trust God, to know that they are not worse than the pastor, that no GO is better than them, that they are as good as any pastor, as any GO, that we are all children of God, and that they don't need the GO or the church to be able to relate to God. So that is the faith we must restore back in our people. That our people must begin to believe in themselves. Then they will be able to free themselves away from the yoke of church and from the yoke of pastors, especially where they have been abused.